What's good everyone, and this time let's take a look at this bad boy. This is the iPhone X. The iPhone that was the first one to come with a notch with the legendary new design of the new iPhones. I mean, I still love this device and let me tell you why in this video. Let's begin. So like I already said, this was a revolutionary design, let me call it like that, because there was the same design for years when we compare like the iPhone 6 to the iPhone 7 to the iPhone 8, everything was the same, but the iPhone X was a huge difference. And of course, this is the only size to go for. Probably many people would like to go for the Plus models, but the iPhone X was only available in just one regular iPhone X size. I don't know, I feel like Apple has forgotten about this device, or I think that this device is forgotten in general, because if you go to Apple's website, it is no longer supported. You can only buy it from some third-party resellers or maybe some used models, but it's not a device that Apple is encouraging you to buy right now. And there are some reasons for it, but I don't think that it really makes sense to put the iPhone X to a side because there are just new models. This is still a great and functioning piece of tech. And I really love how it looks, how it feels, and what it does. For example, if you would rather buy the iPhone 11 or iPhone XR, those definitely have lower resolution display than this one. And you probably wouldn't notice it in your everyday life. I mean, usually it's a normal thing, you don't really see any pixels on the iPhone XR, for example, but who doesn't watch YouTube videos? I mean, you do it, you're doing it right now, so in YouTube videos, you can't really use the 1080p option because you don't have a 1080p display, whereas here on the iPhone X you have a really good resolution of the front screen OLED panel. I have to stress that this was the first iPhone to bring the OLED display, so the display on the iPhone X is beautiful, and I would say even better than the one on the iPhone 11 or on the iPhone XR. So I don't see a reason to hate the look and the feel the iPhone is giving you, because I really like the iPhone X. But of course, the iPhone 11 is a little bit bigger than this one with 6.1 inches, but still there is lower resolution. On this one you have 458 ppi, and it just looks good. You have 3D touch on this device, and if you just compare it to the iPhone XR, to the iPhone 11, to the iPhone 11 Pro even, those devices don't have 3D touch anymore. I don't want to go deep into this topic because I already did so in one of my videos. You can definitely take a look at it. It's some interesting stuff. But like I said, on the iPhone 11 you have only 326 ppi, so I don't know why this could be a bad option when it comes to the display. Of course, Apple has done that for a reason on the iPhone 11, and that was mostly to the fact that they wanted to like put a bigger battery in this, and just they wanted to optimize everything so they could say that the battery life is like 4 hours longer. I mean, it works and everything, but still on paper technically this is much better display than the one on the brand new model. Of course, the iPhone X features the Face ID. It was actually the first iPhone to have that. I mean, it's a different form of biometric security. I mean, we can all agree that some people would prefer the classic Touch ID, some people like this one better. It comes down to the personal preference, but I have no problem with this, so I'm only glad that this is how it works. I'm glad that this is how iPhones work now. I mean, nothing to say about that. Of course, I don't really use the front-facing camera, as we're already talking about it. I'm gonna go deeper into the cameras a little bit later, but as of right now, I can tell that the cameras are good. You know, they're not that good as on the iPhone 11 Pro or 11. There is no doubt about it. You can get some really high quality photos and videos out of this device. You have, of course, the dual lens setup, the vertical one. Of course, mixed feelings about it for many people, but I like it. I don't know about you. One thing that I like about this camera, and I realized that when I started using the iPhone 11 Pro, is the wide-angle lens. This is just absolutely the best thing they could ever implement. And I'm glad that in the iPhone 11 you have the classic and the wide-angle one, but here you have the classic and the telephoto lens. So not bad, you can get some really nice portrait photos out of this device, but a wide-angle lens would be better, but I still think that it doesn't really turn it into a bad device, but a wide-angle lens would be really nice to have. The battery life for me has always been excellent. I went through the entire day, and after 2 years of using it as my daily driver, because I didn't really had to upgrade to iPhone XS, and now if I go to the battery, you can see that the capacity is 91%, and that was after 2 years of using the iPhone every single day. I don't know, I feel like it's a good result, and considering that I got some good results of battery life, right now I cannot tell you, I cannot give you some statistics about it because I already switched to iPhone 11 Pro as my daily driver, but I got about 5 or 6 hours of screen on time, which was good. I really liked it, and I mean, nothing to complain about the battery, about the display, and about the camera as well, except for the lack of the wide-angle lens. I'm just really satisfied with the iPhone X as it is. What I also like about the iPhone X is that it's not like you have 2 options to go for, so it's a lot easier to decide because there isn't any decision to be made at first place. There is only one size option, whereas right now you have a bigger and smaller one. I know it sounds kind of weird, but there is only one option to go for, so it's a lot easier for you. But what I don't like about it so much is that there are only 2 color options, namely the space gray and the silver, but it's like black and white. So, I mean, there isn't any gold option, there isn't anything extraordinary to pick from. You don't have the midnight green, of course. I don't even have it here, but this was the new color of iPhone 11. With the iPhone XR and 11, there are like many colors to pick from, but with this one it was very limited, so it's kind of shame. But I already started to talk about the camera, but this one on the iPhone X is actually very capable. You have 4K video recording at 24, 30 or 60 FPS. You of course have the lower resolutions as well. You have optical zoom up to 6 times digital zoom. You of course have the dual lens setup, which one is the telephoto lens, which has the aperture of f2.4. The classic lens is called wide angle. It's not the ultra wide angle, but it's at f1.8 aperture. So I mean, it's a nice camera, it's a nice setup. You're gonna get some beautiful photos out of this. Don't feel like when you don't have the iPhone 11 or the 11 Pro that the photos out of this device will look like trash, because they won't. I mean, you also have the QLED flash on the front side. There isn't much to talk about the camera here, besides the fact that you have the option to go for the portrait mode, even on the front facing camera, so that's cool. But it's a true depth camera for facial recognition, which means that you can of course use the Face ID, and it's a good technology. I mean, just don't feel like you like something when you have the iPhone X, or that if you want to get it, because there isn't a huge and tremendous difference between the iPhone X and iPhone XS or the iPhone 11. This is still a capable device to use. It's fast, it's speedy. Of course, after some time it can happen that you have to replace the battery, but other than that, the iPhones still support the latest version of iOS, and for a couple of years they will still support it. It came out with the iOS 11 and now runs the latest iOS 13, like I said. As we already talked about the performance, the iPhone X is equipped with A11 Bionic chip, which means that it's still pretty snappy and pretty good. The chip has only been implemented into the iPhone X, into this one, into iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. It hasn't been used in any other device, and the successor was the A12 Bionic, which is a lot faster, but it doesn't mean that this one, the A11, is bad or unusable. You don't have to worry that your iPhone doesn't have enough capacity, because you have pretty much the same options when it comes to the gigabytes and the capacity of your iPhone. The lower one is 64 gigs, and the same lower option is present on the iPhone 11 Pro. I cannot stress this enough. On the Pro device, the basic version is 64 gigs. So, I mean, yeah, Apple definitely thinks that this is a reasonable option. They definitely think that for some people it's gonna be enough. I of course ran out of the storage really quickly, but that's due to the fact that I took a lot of photos and videos. And again, that confirms the fact that the photos and videos from this device look very good. So yeah, I would recommend you getting the bigger capacity, but it's up to you. And if you are deciding to get this device or not, this is not a bad option to go for. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, if you want to see future videos and future updates, then make sure you smash the subscribe button as hard as you can, and see you guys later in the next video. Peace out.